It is the year 2023, and I just said ivermectin influencer has died. That is right. He died, but not before spreading a lot of misinformation about ivermectin. There he is, Danny Lemoi. And I want y'all to know what his famous last words were that he texted to his Telegram followers, numbering over 140,000 of them. His last words were, "Happy Friday, all you poisonous horse paste eating survivors." That's real, y'all. So every Friday, please wish everyone a happy Friday, all you horse paste eating survivors. Poisonous horse paste eating survivors. Okay, for real though, he died on March 3rd of, we'll talk about how he died, but he was using ivermectin to treat his ailments. He was a proponent of alternative medicine. He began taking it in 2012. He had Lyme's disease, so he was taking it. After 5 months on the drug, he apparently stopped taking any other treatment, and he believed that ivermectin had, as he put it, regenerated his heart muscle. Clearly under COVID, when the ivermectin craze took off, Danny Lemoi found himself an influencer. And like I said, 140,000 followers on Telegram. They would talk about ivermectin, obviously talk about the runs that it gives you. What does ivermectin do? For a refresher, even the levels of ivermectin approved for human use, remember, it is to deworm a horse and other livestock. It can interact with medications like blood thinners. You can overdose on ivermectin, which can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, hypertension, allergic reactions, dizziness, ataxia, so problems with balance, seizures, comas, and even death. But those Telegram followers definitely took his word. So Lemoi explained away those negative side effects of taking veterinary ivermectin by describing them as herxing, a real term to describe an adverse response that occurs in people who take antibiotics as a treatment for Lyme's disease. So he just kept on saying herxing. So he wrote, "My wife has been taking ivermectin for 3 months. She's been treated for autoimmune hepatitis, thyroid, and vertebrae issues." This is a member on the Telegram, not him. "She has some serious herxing. Today she has a migraine, vomiting, and severe stomach pain. Does anyone have any ideas how to help? Are these herxing symptoms?" And then you can see here, oh my God. Just like, do we have the screenshot? This person went through an entire syringe of ivermectin in 3 days. It varies depending on brand, but one syringe of Equamax, their preferred brand, treats a 1,320 pound horse, guys. So this is a tweet from someone discussing how much ivermectin another person was taking. That's in 3 days, a syringe that was equal to treat an over 1,000-pound horse. I'm great with numbers. That's insane. That's insane. Jayar?
So, go ahead, sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I need you to jump in here.
So, when I saw this, I felt bad for the guy's family because look, he went through the first thing with the Lyme disease, and maybe he was prescribed a certain level, but then he went to the veterinary level and then starts influencing people to do the same. And especially once COVID hit, this was like a money grab for him. So it was almost seen as an opportunity, in my opinion. I don't know exactly what his motivations were in pushing this so hard. Maybe he's just, a clergyman of ivermectin, but he was on the religion of ivermectin, and it made him money, I guess, because he's an influencer on it. He probably went hardcore on it because, again, like in this capitalistic society, you have to sell something or else you're not gonna survive.
Right.
So because of everything else that's been put on us, from the costs of things like, going to the doctor, which this person who wrote about his wife herxing, what he thought was that if you ask a question to a form of people who have been lying to you, and you don't think, let me go see my doctor, for whatever reason, it could have been from, I don't trust my doctor because politicians told me and pundits told me not to I can't afford to go see my doctor because of what politicians and pundits have done and put things into place to make sure that you can't even afford to go see your doctor, which results in this. And it's this circular process of one person using someone else for their benefit because they can't survive without it. Next person then using it, dying over it probably, or killing themselves damn near from these other folks who followed him. And it goes back in that same system, and they never blame the actual reason behind it. It goes back to blaming that next guy, and it happens over and over and over again. There's tons of victims here, and this guy here was one of them, except he found himself on a hierarchy a little bit higher on those victims. He could use lower people for a little while until he killed himself too. Isn't that depressing?
Yeah, it's like, yes, we live in a massive pyramid scheme of different pyramid schemes, and the goal is to not be the lowest on that pyramid.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I mean, look, this feels like a news from back, in 2021, 2020 of the COVID denialism. But for all the people who are like, well, wait and see, when you take the vaccine, you're gonna drop dead in 3 days. Okay, well, we beat y'all, so we're still here, and your horse pace eating faces or asses are dropping like flies, clearly. I mean, look, we should talk about the pre-existing conditions of the ivermectin consumer. He had Lyme's disease. I don't know. Okay, one last thing. He also advocated eating apricot pits, which have a low grade amount of cyanide in them in order to cure cancer, y'all. So this is not only now a Telegram group that is talking about ivermectin, they're talking about eating apricot pits to stop cancer. Amazing. Now, do you think that they've learned their lesson? Have they changed their ways since Danny's death? No. Graphic 8, this is from one of the members saying, no one can convince me that he died because of ivermectin. He ultimately died because of our failed Western medicine, which only cares about profits and not the cure.
You're almost there, buddy.
So close. You're just.
I'm so glad I took that one from you because I knew you were gonna go.
No, but this is the thing, Jayar. We just got done talking about insulin. Look, if you can't afford insulin, and then someone offers you an apricot pit and is like, look, this also treats diabetes. Why don't you take it? And it's free, or it's the price of apricots. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we do this to ourselves.
And keep handing over our lives to these influencers or these folks who think that they have the answers. Like, no one can convince me because someone else already convinced you, and you're stuck in your ways. And as you point out, when you said some people say, oh, you guys that took the vaccine, you're gonna die in 2 days. And then when it doesn't happen, then if that doesn't happen, you know what we can't do then? You can't then say, yo, I think I was wrong. That's those words are the last thing that Americans can ever utter.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.